And as the US midterm contest is headed for a cliffhanger finish, the Republican hopes of a stinging blow to President Joe Biden in congressional elections seems to be receding. In many US states, the midterms will have a direct impact on the 2024 presidential election, and the results also have global repercussions. While both parties have common grounds on most areas of key foreign policy issues, one of the reasons why the US midterms are watched closely is a shift in power equations could lead to a change in the policy towards Ukraine. However, Washington maintains that there is bipartisan consensus on the support to Kiev.
Here, we've seen bipartisan support from Ukraine. The president is committed to continuing to work with the Congress to ensure that that support continues.
One of those moments comes on every...
Now, since Biden entered the Oval Office, U.S. policy towards Russia has been tougher. Washington and Moscow have locked horns over many issues, the main issue being the unwavering support to Zelensky's efforts to defend his country against Russian forces. During the term of Donald Trump, Washington was seen to be adopting a somewhat softer approach, but all that clearly changed once Russia launched its quote-unquote special military operation in Ukraine. While the final results are awaited, the Kremlin, in an official statement, has said that Moscow's ties with Washington were likely to remain at rock bottom, regardless of the results of the US midterm elections. Another power the US has to reckon with is China, the world's second largest economy. Relations between Washington and Beijing have been frosty. They nosedived following a visit in August by the US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan, which China views as its own territory. But Beijing refused to comment on the US polls, calling it an internal affair.
美国中期选举是美国的内政。 选举结果由美国选民投票决定，中方不做评论。
A change in the power equilibrium in Washington could also impact the economic policies. With echoes of a slowdown resonating, any tinkering of the fiscal policy will have its effect around the world, and a slowing economy has been one of the big issues in the polls. Last but not the least, President Biden would be headed to Egypt, where world leaders have gathered to find a way to avoid a climate catastrophe. A Republican control over the House or Senate could make it difficult for Biden to muster support for his climate agenda. The Republicans under former President Trump have been known to embrace climate deniers. Therefore, from the climate front to issues like Iran and countering China to taking on Russia, all would depend on how the Americans have voted in the midterms. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.